Bucko, mighty Bucko, hello, and welcome to Lee. It's good that you're back in Bucko's kitchen. So you've had a bit of a baseball strike?
Yeah, I've had a strike. Yeah, ridiculous. Very briefly then, all it was about, it was a 30-minute video. I covered a lot of ground.
Yeah.
I think at this point everybody's aware that we've got to use code words and dance around using certain names and phrases because that trigger. But there was nothing, they accused me of medical misinformation and convinced there was nothing in that video to constitute medical misinformation. There was a lot of stuff in it, but I was absolutely certain because I checked that it was clearly something they didn't want broadcast. So I challenged it. I put in an appeal, and it was rejected straight away. Now that means to me it's an automatic rejection if he appeals rejected, because if it was a proper appeal, you'd expect at least whether it's. Well, I don't think AI would actually be equipped to check out what my counter arguments. I think you'd have to, clever as it is, you'd have to have a human being to do it.
Yeah,
but it was rejected immediately, which means I didn't consider my challenge, and that's it. So I'm banned till next week. Can't upload.
Okay. And then you've got to be careful for so many days.
The way it happens is you get one strike. You can't upload or post for a week. Then within 90 days, if you get a second strike, I think they'll stop you from uploading for a month. And then the third one is to take your channel down. That's it, all gone, no more.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which it's going to happen. I've said this for so long. Just before we start, by the way, I forgot, right? Hamilton.
Oh yes.
Yes, it's your granddad's 94th birthday today, and your nan's been poorly, but is back with him. So I hope it's an happy birthday.
Yes, he looked well, didn't he?
Yeah, he looks well. I just received a picture, so that's nice. Yeah.
Fantastic weather, isn't it? Living
We
in
need to move to Barbados.
I think so. I think so. I mean, my sister and her husband, they've been stationed in Cyprus. He's been in the army and then in a teaching job with the army. They've come back. They live in Kent, and they had no illnesses in all those 20 odd years in Cyprus, and now they're feeling it. And so the weather, when it's nice and it's dry heat and everything, it's great. It makes you feel better. Everyone loves the sunshine. We don't like sometimes intense heat that we feel so weary we can't do nothing, but we do. We like the sunshine. And your dad, just a few words on how your dad's been.
Well, I'm off to see him now. I told him I'll be around this afternoon. So he's all right. He's a bit depressed, as you'd expect.
As you would be, yeah.
My mum, I think she's doing all the stressing for him, but she's okay. And he's got to go back next Thursday, the 27th, to try and get to the bottom about why he suffered this blindness. And in the meantime, there ain't nothing he can do other than sit around the house and listen to the telly or watch it with his one functioning eye.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go into it because of the censorship, but some of the things that are well proven to be a side effect of a certain treatment, and blindness has been one of them from the start. Yeah. So although I've got no evidence to say he's 100% guaranteed this, I'm very suspicious.
Yeah.
Very suspicious, as anybody should be.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah. And we had a bit of a prayer, just didn't we?
Yeah, Jane prayed and
but he's okay in himself.
And that's
he's
good.
Doing the best as he can.
Because on these updates, this is sort of like just a general update. Lee comes and we make the most of it, catching up on things, and then do a video, and it's all a lot of it's off the cuff, I've made a few notes, a few interesting stories or light-hearted stories, things that have happened recently that may have a measure of interest for people who view. And one of which just happened in the supermarket today, early morning. There was only one till in the supermarket. It's only it's a smaller type of supermarket, but enough for about 7 aisles to be served. But there was only one till open. The queue came right down and right round the corner, so I joined the queue, and then over the tannoy it came out like ding. Till number 4 is now open. Please go to till number 4. So the lady in front of me had a pile of stuff. She piled it all on the escalator, the belt, conveyor belt, and I just had a little space. I could put about 2 or 3 items, so I'm actually on it. You know, once you got your stuff on, it's hard to throw you off, isn't it? So, and then they carried on. Will you please go to number 4? Ding, till number 4 is now open. It just kept repeating it. The queue formed behind me, and we waited and we waited and we waited. And then the till that they were all there initially at, that goes right down to hardly anyone on it. And so in the end, the lady came. And as soon as she came, it came out, till number 4 is now closing. Please go to another till and you will be served there. So they all went off, and I said, look, this is nonsense really, isn't it? I mean, it's come over the loudspeaker. We've been instructed to come here, and it's shutting down. I mean, there's no sense to this. Well, don't challenge the sacred cow of technology, isn't it? Don't challenge. Don't say nothing, even if it's common sense what you're saying. It did not go down well. And she actually says, well, if you don't like it, you can go to another supermarket. I thought, oh dear me, what a carry on.
Your Luddites.
Yes, yes. Well, and we understand it was a glitch, but who knows, when more and more of this type of technology comes in, what strange stuff
that's the concern,
will be going on. Yeah. And into that vein, there was another incident that happened recently. Someone at work lives in a block of flats, and when they go into the front door, through the entrance, they put in the keypad, isn't it? A certain thing. Well, at work, she was getting this phone call from people who lived in the flats, who had keys to get in their flats, but they couldn't get through the front entrance. And as they stood waiting for people to come, more and more didn't have a key to the front entrance. So there was a crowd of them, and she had to leave work to go back to let them in their own house.
Crazy.
Now, is that not because they're trusting the technology? They're trusting this is going to work.
Yeah, I think... people,
and it's failed on.
Yeah, I think people are too trusting in technology.
And the similar incident, as I say, with the supermarket, you know, the voice is telling them to do something, they do it, and it's nonsense because then they've been sent somewhere and they can't be served and they have to... Are we trusting too much in this?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
You can't reinvent something, and in general, technologies can, not necessarily is, but can be a good thing if used in the right way.
Yeah.
It's going too far, just like that. I think there's you get more and more people now talking about going back to nature, the good life, stuff like that. I think we've reached, but I think technology hasn't stopped evolving. That's still going to carry on. Yeah. But I think people have had enough of it. We've got everything we need technology-wise now. We don't fancy being operated on by robots.
Yeah, we don't.
We don't want to go on holiday on an aeroplane where they're on a pilot, although it's
or getting a taxi driven by.
Yeah, although again, technically, statistically, it's probably safer, but you don't want it, so we'll reject your technology.
That's it, and I was
saying... Like the Amish, we'll stop in 1988.
Yeah. I said to Phil and Gaz, when we were in Morrison's, I shared this from this morning. I go in the morning little and on to Morrison's. And then I said, yes, imagine it in time where these robots are more and more prevalent, walking about, mixing, as it were, with the general public, or what's left of the general public. And then a glitch happens to them and they grab hold of your trolley. Says, I must take it somewhere. Or, no, please give it back. Who knows what will happen, isn't it, as these things progress?
Well, I remember growing up as a kid, I wouldn't buy it, my auntie bought me 2000 AD. So you occasionally get stories in it by Isaac Asimov and people like that, science fiction writers and Harry Harrison, stuff like this. Yeah. But I know there's some kind of rules, robotics, where there's a protocol that a robot cannot harm a human being. But that's going to go wrong, isn't it? That ain't going to happen. Or did you see that video a few months ago of that child playing chess with a robot?
I didn't see that one. No. What happened there?
It was basically they were showing you how clever the technology is, like it can beat this kid at chess. Well, it's a child, a kid doing what kids do. So it gets its finger in the way. The robot confuses his finger for a noise broke the kid's finger. So you got all these adults panicking, like get the kid's finger out of the robot, and the robot's going, broke the child's finger, 7-year-old. So it's
well, that's when it all gets out of hand, doesn't it? That's when it gets out of hand. Yep. So, So another story. This is just an interesting, light-hearted incident at the bus stop. Okay, so I've gone round the corner, catching the bus into town, and there's just one lady standing in the entrance of the bus stop. I joined behind her, and we're waiting for the bus. And in the distance it comes. So she's looking, and I'm looking. The bus comes, the driver looks at us and just carries on. And we looked at each other, and she says, I can't believe that's just happened. He's just driven by us at the bus stop. I said, and to be kindly to her, I said, well, I think it's because she was the nearest one, didn't put her hand out. I think it's because we didn't put our hand out, he's just driven off. Now, that sounds really bizarre, but there was a chap came after that, and we told him, we relayed the story, and he stood there laughing. Thought it was very funny that we've missed it at the bus stop. Anyway, another bus turned up, and we went. Well, the next week, this chap is the one standing first in line, right? And I'm second again, standing there. And I think I don't want to get caught again, because he's standing there with his cigarette and that, and he's not going to put his hand out. I know this. So I quickly dive forward and put my hand out, and the bus does stop. But I thought to myself, had he not done that, would it have happened again? And if it had happened again, what did he learn from last week when I told him the story? And the answer was nothing. Nothing. But that was a funny one. And while we're on the subject of buses, on Sunday, me and Jane, we were going to church. This is a couple of weeks back. And usually you see the same people on a Sunday who will going into work or going to church or going, whatever they're doing at that 10 o'clock bus. And we'd come down the street, we'd turn in the corner where the bus stop would be, and a chap who's normally there was coming back. And he saw us and stopped. And he said, oh, you've come. Oh, he says, I've got fresh hope. Maybe I've not missed the bus at all. He says, I got there was nobody there. I thought the buses were on strike or something. I thought, oh. And so we all trooped back round the corner, and then the bus came. Anyway, I pondered, reflected on this. We got to the church service, and one of the praise chorus songs that they were singing in the first song was on the subject of hope. And it says, hope will arise. It was in the song. And I thought on this, and then I said to the pastor, let me just share something. I illustrated this little incident. I said, this man stopped, fresh hope had come when he was going home, and he thought, I've missed the bus, I've missed it, it's not turned up, nobody's there, I'm going home. And his face changed, and hope came, and hope arose. And so I relayed all this, and I says, and how marvellous that we as people, if we can enter into places and give people fresh hope and encouragement and with shining faces and bless them. Isn't that a marvellous thing? And then, would you believe it? The chap who ran the food bank, he came up and said about how things were going. And he commented on what I'd said on hope and said, yes, it's true. Sometimes you just give these things and you wonder if it's doing anything for anyone. And other times they appreciate it. And it's great when you see the change and how they're being helped. And then the visiting actual missionary, or not missionary, represented, the lady came, a visiting speaker, to represent this work in the Philippines that works with street children and little children with no hope, and they help them and they fund their education and they feed them and they look after them because people sponsor them. I think this is called Compassion. I think it's called, this particular work. And it all linked in, everything that day linked in with that. It just flowed in the spirit, as it were. It was great. And she commented twice, and I was really encouraged when he stood up and mentioned that story on hope, and it all went well. It's nice sometimes how things flow. Yeah. You find this sometimes in life. Yeah. Sometimes it don't flow.
True. I mean, one of my stock sayings is there's no coincidences, and you do get periods where you get one thing after another from different points of your life that have got no actual connection with each other other than you. Yeah. But you're being nudged to look at a certain thing or consider a certain point or go to a particular place.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sometimes a subject comes up and then two or three different people without any communication on it are saying the same thing. Yeah. It's great when life is like that.
Sometimes it is. Other times it's not coincidence.
Yeah. One last one on the. That's right. So this was on a separate day in another church service on a Sunday morning. Now, an older lady stood up and says, "I'd like to share a dream I've had, Pastor, please." He says, "Well, free, take the floor." So she relayed that she was having this dream, and in her dream in West Brom, she's walking along and there's all these roadblocks on all the streets. And she couldn't go down this street, she couldn't go down that street, she couldn't go down the other street, and she could only go a certain way. And I says to Jane, I says, this sounds like 15-minute city. I said to her later on, I said, an old lady who's not familiar with the internet, with these terms. Yeah. I said, have you ever heard of the term 15-minute cities? She says, no, I've never heard that. So to me, I thought it was of interest because what she was describing in her dreams seemed to me at the time to indicate that.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. And then just going back to the Milton Keynes, the Stony Stratford meetup that we had that we all enjoyed. Phil found a chap who was speaking to him, who relayed a story to him, and that happened under those days of the tyranny. And I said, I'd like to speak to him on this. So he relayed the story to me, and he said that he was going into a particular supermarket, and the security went, "Excuse me, but where's your..." He said, "No, I'm exempt," or whatever he said. And he carried on into the supermarket, and it came over the loudspeaker of the tannoy. There is a man in the store without a. Be careful. And people, he said, were pointing with the. He went that way. There he is, through there.
Yeah. You know what that is? You know the Donald Sutherland version of the body snatchers.
Yeah.
Unclean.
It's true.
It's true. So weird.
This is it. And you've got to, when it's like that, we must speak up to point out, because the majority like seeing nothing wrong in the supermarket. Well, what does it matter? It says over the loudspeaker, go to this and we'll shut it down now, you all have to clear up.
It's the old thing, the Emperor's got no clothes again, isn't it? You know, everybody's clapping along, you actually no clothes on.
Yeah. So anyway, a truther, sent me this poem that he wrote. Now, you may remember, I think Tim on Fair Play Now had commented on Asim Malhotra, who was a doctor whose dad died and he was upset, and he called these people who didn't take the treatment lucky fools. In his education and his knowledge and his why has this happened to my dad, and we are clever, we've been through the training universities, this, that and the other, but Bob the Builder's took it, he's not took it rather, and he's fine. Well, so I'll read it to you just as it is. A poem by John E. Cook in response to Asim Malhotra's comments. Listen, Doc, they tried to warn you and tried again and again and again, the lucky fools. Ostracised as lepers and sacked en masse, the lucky fools. Now the tables turn, more open eyes, even intellectuals start to rise, the lucky fools. They knew. Some trusted gut, some spirit, some their God and gurus too, the lucky fools. Some read small print, some between the lines, putting two and two together, enough to survive. Now the MDs, to protect their pride, call them the lucky fools. I'll take being a fool over your doctorate. Do no harm. Did you? How many you spiked with your evil tool? And we're the fool?
Mm-hmm. Powerful.
Well put.
Very powerful. You know, this has been said many, many times, but I've been asked once or twice. I'm talking about, when I say many times, it's come to conversation with different events in different places, but I've only personally been asked twice, and that is, how did you know? How did you know? And to me, that's one. How did you not know?
Well, yeah.
That's the question you should be asking, because as far as I'm concerned, it was as obvious as the nails on your face. Everything about it. It wasn't as if you had to look too far. It was there. All the evidence, it was obvious, absolutely obvious, every step of the way. So by saying, how did you know? How did you not know?
It reveals that for the majority, there was no critical thinking, there was no looking, is what we're being told, is this correct? It was just an acceptance, it is correct, and we go along, we're told to do it, and it must be right, and so therefore...
History proves it so many times as well. Well, it just happens all the time.
Yeah.
Don't learn.
But he summed it up in many things there, isn't it? this guy's pride obviously leaps out from his thoughts on how come someone as intellectual and learned as myself, we obey this and it goes wrong. But these people, not any great education, actually they may not be as clever as they think they are then, isn't it?
Well, my singular objection to that poem, which I think is very good, is the word lucky.
Yeah.
Now, luck had nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the lucky fools. It's the word that the actual doctors used itself, isn't it?
It is, I accept that.
Yeah. And he's picked up on that. But I think that's a great poem by John.
It really
and we thank you for passing that on, John.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, anything to add?
I don't know, if you've got a YouTube channel, watch the censorship. Because they've got the knives out.
The knives are out.
They're not in any excuse, just at the minute.
Yeah.
And why do you think that is? What's your opinion?
Because it's all hitting home to them, isn't it? That more and more people are have insight into what's been going on. Call it awake.
So you're thinking it's a bit like
they know
King Canute trying to hold back the tide?
Yeah. Okay, so
how long has it gone for? 26
yeah,
minutes?
we're on about 26 minutes, I think. Bring it to an end there, and So, and with that, have a great weekend, and
God bless.
God bless, and be seeing you.